Welcome to the video recap of the 77th Honinbo final game 2 between Iyama Yuta and Ichiriki Ryo. Ichiriki Ryo is black and Iyama Yuta is white. Now this game was very interesting up to a point. Now after black played here, you notice that this white group here is not exactly 100% safe, but nobody wanted to take care of this white group either by attacking it or putting one move to it to make it safe for quite a while. And this is when Ichiriki decides to finally attack this white group. It felt like they were saying to each other, well, you attack me first and then I run. So you spend one more move there, or you spend one move to strengthen yourself and then I attack you, then I have more stones to attack. Whatever it may be, AI was saying that they should really both be looking at this group much earlier on. So, but it's only until here that Ichiriki starts to attack this white group. So white jumps out. Now this move feels very, very cautious. Now remember, this is a 2-day game, so there's a theory that you don't want to play moves that can be refuted, especially with an overnight research. So black played here. This is still within day 1. But if you look at the position, it looks like black can just come here. And white can't really easily disconnect black because black's got things like this. So this move feels very, very cautious. Anyway, so let's continue. And now this move was the sealed move of the first day. So this is basically the first move they played in the second day, and this is, we're getting to the business end of the games. So cuts. Now technically at this point white isn't completely alive here, and white needs one move inside here, but you notice that outside black is not also very strong. So for example, this black group is not 100% alive. This two white stones are cut off. This black group has a cutting point right over here, so it's very complicated. So white decides to make use of black's weakness on the outside and just play some moves on the outside first before taking care of the group. Okay. Well, actually at this point black can initiate a kill sequence. So playing here, white can enlarge the eye space, but there's no use. So white on the inside is definitely dead, but I guess Ichiriki Ryo wasn't really sure what would happen if white pulls out these stones, and there's some RG here. Maybe it was very complicated to read it out, so Ichiriki decides not to initiate this kill sequence, but even then Ichiriki still played a little bit untidy. So if Ichiriki is worried about the RG, Ichiriki can just kill off the RG like this, but instead I think Ichiriki tries to get rid of the RG in Sente. Firstly, Ichiriki Ataris and tries to play here. This is a very untidy move. Ichiriki should really just kill it off, but instead jumps, which allowed white to make another move on the outside. Ichiriki made this connection. Now even at this point, AI suggests that pulling out white at this point is still a possible, but Iyama didn't do that. Instead he decided to live on the inside, and Ichiriki started off a fight here. Now to this day I'm still not 100% sure why white played here. I think maybe white was saying to black, you have two choices. One is to take here, one is to Atari here, and depending on what we do, I might get some benefit out of it. I want to make you choose now, but anyway, it ended up letting black take this stone, which was very big. Let's continue. So white connects here. Now you notice that after white connecting here, even though this white group is not alive, next move white can cut here. So Ichiriki played the right move and take the outside and become really strong. White cuts, and black just gives up those stones. And apparently after this one, this white group is pretty much captured. And notice that black is also not 100% alive in here. Black still has black doesn't have 2 eyes, so black really needs to capture these white groups. And at this point, Iyama decides to activate the RG here, and Ichiriki just played it safe and just killed this white group off using 3 moves. He spent 3 moves killing this white group off, and Iyama cut at this point, capturing this black group. So this at this point is back to playable for both sides. And if you know Ichiriki had AI kind of superior reading, then actually Ichiriki didn't have to play so many moves here, and actually could have taken a decisive lead. But even though they're top pros, they are also still human. So so this is playable for both sides still. So the game continues. Now this is a moment where Ichiriki played this move, which is quite slow. Now you notice that at this point, black actually has 3 liberties, but this white group only has 2. So technically, black doesn't have to play here to capture these ones. But I think, for example, if black didn't play there, if black, for example, took, then I think what Ichiriki didn't like was white gets these 2 Ataris in Sente, and when white harness, black cannot cut here. Because if black cuts, firstly can Atari, just Atari can connect. Black actually can't escape, so therefore white would have saved these stones with this Hane move, which was all helped by this wall. So that's why Ichiriki decides to play here, so white doesn't get that 2 Atari. And now if white still decides to Hane here, black can cut, and this doesn't work anymore. Neither of these works. Okay, so so that's possibly why Ichiriki played this move. So but what this allowed was that allowed white to run out with this stone, which the ladder is broken for the longest time, which is white never had the time to do it, but now runs out with this group. So let's continue. Now, after making this jump, of course, white can make a tiger's mouth and save these 3 stones. But Ichiriki made a fatal mistake at this point. He decides to play here. Now, I think it's because Ichiriki thought that this move is Sente against the corner. So white has to protect the corner first before. So then afterwards, black can still play here and not lose these points. But Iyama Yuta read this situation beautifully, and he's saying to Ichiriki, this move is not Sente, so it goes here to save this 1 stone. Now there's good reasons why Iyama doesn't think that this is Sente. So now after playing here, so Iyama decides to spend 1 more move to try and kill the corner. Now imagine in this situation if white played here. Now this black group is not alive, so black would have to connect under. After playing this, now this move helps white a lot. So for example, if white tries to break through, and I just play the most vulgar variation, Notice that this corner can die if white can capture this black group. So white can now come out. Atari. Oh, there's no way for this black group to go anywhere. So this black group is captured. So this most vulgar variation doesn't really work. So maybe black would just play lightly like this, Hane. So white can connect. Of course, doesn't want black wouldn't want white to capture these groups. So maybe play here. So now white can break through here. Maybe white. It's better for white to black to play here. So white can break through. Hane, Atari. So white's got too many liberties, so white will kill this black group first. So you see how this white stone actually help white to get through. So that's one variation, and other variations that work kind of similarly as well. So this obviously doesn't work for white. This group's not alive, so yeah. So this is actually not Sente. So so let's see what actually happened in the game. So Iyama played here, and Ichiriki realized that none of those things help, so played here. So white comes down here, which is Sente, so black connects under. Black played this beautiful move here, which actually gave white extra code threats. So imagine if white didn't play there and just play here directly. With Atari, this is too late to play this as a code threat. I can just take, just cut. So by playing here first, white it's gotten more code threats out of it. So let's continue. So they start finding this code. So now at this point, apparently at this point, Ichiriki can just give up the top black group. For example, just by killing here, and this way Ichiriki will be ahead. But I believe he's only ahead by 1.5 moves, so it's really difficult to judge, especially with so much of the board still open. So we can possibly say Ichiriki played inaccurately, but it's in a situation where I think it's really hard for even top pros to judge. Again, it's the same kind of idea. Ichiriki could have given this group according to AI and still win. Okay, sorry. Now, at this point, when white basically ignored this code threat and played here, at this point, AI also suggests that Ichiriki can actually take, and then white can just Atari here. And Ichiriki would still be ahead, and this is because this move here is actually much more valuable than it looks. For example, if now black plays here and white decides to finish off the kill off all the RG, then actually black's got this move here. Connect. And notice that this black group has 3 liberties. So say white starts filling it from behind, right? That's white's in trouble. So when played here, white has to play here. Black can play here, So actually, that's actually worth a lot more points. So black actually captured all of these in Sente. So therefore, when black played here, it's probably a good idea for white to just take. And later on, later on, there's still some kind of like a code here. But what that means is, because if this black move is Sente, then these white stones also kind of is under threat. And if black connects here, this is also still got some RG. So overall, that was the last chance that Ichiriki had. But again, that's really tough to make that assessment in the game, because Ichiriki wouldn't be ahead by much even if he could figure all of that out in that short time. So anyway, ended up being that Ichiriki decided this ko is not going to win, because even at this point white can still play here. It's still ko, so Ichiriki just resigned.